What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jeffrey Clark. I'm the broker owner for Clark Realty. And while we all know the city of Sunshine has plenty of positives, today we're gonna talk about something a little bit more real about St. Petersburg. We're gonna cover some of the negatives that I hear every day from people we help buy or sell homes here in St. Petersburg to help you get a full idea of what it's like to live in the city of Sunshine before you move to St. Pete. So let's get into it. First up, let's talk about crowds. If you're not a fan of crowds, unfortunately for you, St. Petersburg is a tourist destination, and as a result, from time to time, the city gets a little bit more crowded depending on the activities that you're thinking of. It changes based off the season, so obviously at peak times like spring break or summer break, we're gonna have a lot more people here than we will outside of those times. But definitely even outside of those times, when there's major events happening at the city, like there's regularly concerts or farmers markets or little local vendor shop things that pop up at the parks, pretty much anytime you go to those, because it's so beautiful here and so nice out, everyone wants to get outside and get engaged with the activities. So there's generally a lot of people milling around. Traffic can get a little bit worse depending on what's happening. It's just something for you to be aware of. St. Petersburg still maintains its small town feel with a lot of cool vibes when it comes to like the arts and the culture scene. I mean, it doesn't feel as like hectic and busy like Tampa does, but that doesn't mean that from time to time it doesn't feel full, because it certainly does. So if you're someone who likes to avoid crowds, I don't know that St. Petersburg is going to be the best place for you, but if you don't mind a few crowds here and there because you live in a place that people love to vacation at, then you'll be totally fine here in St. Petersburg. It's just something for you to be aware of. Number two, let's talk about housing. Now, this one is near and dear to my heart. Last year in 2024, my team finished in the top 1.8% of agencies here in Florida helping people buy and sell homes. So every day I'm dealing with this. Every day we're helping someone move from out of state or sell their home and move somewhere else. And so I can tell you firsthand that housing prices have gone up here in St. Petersburg. We just have so many people moving here. The net migration has been so positive that over the last few years, both rental and home purchase prices have gone up. I know that's true for pretty much everywhere in the US, but St. Petersburg is no different and has grown at a faster rate than the average. I can tell you right now, at the beginning of 2025, our median rent price is about $2,150, and our median home price is about $475,000. But obviously there's options for way more than that if you wanted to buy like a luxury downtown condo or a house on the water. And then there's also plenty of options underneath that if you don't mind a smaller condo or a smaller home slightly outside of the city center or a few minutes further away from downtown St. Petersburg. So there's definitely an option for you. If you're curious about what kind of price you would need to spend to buy your dream home, just comment below or reach out to us at our information in the description. We'd be happy to guide you through the process. We do this every single day and we would love to be of service. But let's move on to number three. Number three is gonna be the weather. And this is kind of a two-edged sword. So there's gonna be a part A and a part B to this weather section for number three. And part A is in St. Petersburg, it is hot, especially in the summer months, hot and humid. Now we do get a nice breeze that comes off the water that doesn't make it too bad, but the sun shines here. I've talked about this in other videos, but St. Petersburg has the Guinness World Record for the most consecutive days of sunshine. And when you live in the city of sunshine, you get used to the heat, unless you're someone who doesn't. And if that's you and you don't want a tropical lifestyle, St. Petersburg's probably not gonna be for you. We are the city of sunshine and palm trees, and it feels that way, especially in the summer. You're gonna run your AC, you're gonna hustle from the car to the cafe so that you don't break a sweat. It's just something that you get used to. Now on the flip side of that, that opens up a lot of amazing activities. Like I love going kayaking in the summer, going for a swim by the pier, or going to one of our amazing nationally ranked #1 beaches. But I know that I may be different than some of the other people watching this, especially if you're coming from somewhere up north and you're used to snow angels and salt on the roads. That is not the way that it is in St. Petersburg. It is a hot city here. And then part B, when it comes to weather, it's gonna be anywhere that's a coastal city, especially in Florida, needs to be aware of hurricanes. So in the same way that the West Coast deals with fire or other markets deal with blizzards, earthquakes, or tornadoes, in Florida, we need to think about hurricanes. And so every year come hurricane season, people watch the weather, they monitor to see what's going on, and they make sure that they're stocked up on some canned food, some water, batteries, candles, those kind of things, just in case. Generally, it's fine. Unfortunately, last year we did get hit with some storms, but that was the first time in over 100 years. Even then, the city's more or less back to normal, except for homes that got flooded, which has been just horrible watching some of our neighbors go through. There are parts of St. Petersburg that require flood insurance and pose flood risk, and then most of St. Petersburg does not require flood insurance and has the minimum flood risk as deemed by FEMA, who you get your insurance from. So not requiring flood insurance, didn't flood during the storms, it's not a problem. My house in particular has no flood risk because it's not something that I wanted to deal with, and it's not worth it for me to live on the water. So that one's gonna just kind of be up to you. Definitely if you wanted to avoid the flood areas, just reach out to us at the information below and we'll show you the regions that do and do not require flood insurance. But it's something that you should be aware of if you're moving to St. Pete from a market that doesn't have to think about hurricanes, it's definitely something we keep our eye on here. Number 4 is going to be the lack of public transportation. And this one in particular is for those of you coming from major cities like New York or Chicago or any of these places with a robust public transportation system. St. Pete doesn't have that. We're not quite big enough where that's a huge problem for people, but definitely if you're living in St. Petersburg, you're going to be car dependent, with one minor exception, which is if you live in the downtown St. Pete area, almost everything's walkable for you. There are a little bit of public transportation options that you have available if you're in downtown St. Petersburg, but pretty much otherwise you are going to need a car to get around. So plan for gas, insurance, car maintenance, and a little bit of longer travel time depending on what time of day you're driving around. And number 5 is going to be the job market, but let me be clear here. St. Petersburg has an amazing job market. Our economy in St. Petersburg is white hot. We've just had so much money coming in as more and more people move here. And then being a tourist destination, we get a lot of outside money coming in. So the job market's hot. There's plenty of jobs. But what I hear sometimes is the jobs available here aren't quite as specialized as in some other markets. Meaning if you work in a very niche career, it may be that St. Petersburg doesn't have a job in the city for you. A lot of people who are in very specialized niche careers end up looking in Tampa. Maybe they find a job in Tampa because it's a little bit more commercial and businessy and, tie, white polo, coat jacket kind of thing, where St. Petersburg is more like Sperry's, shorts, and a Hawaiian shirt. So that's just something for you to consider. And if you are thinking about getting a job in Tampa and living in St. Petersburg, that's great. You kind of get the best of both worlds, but be mindful of traffic. The commute times to go to and from Tampa from St. Pete at peak rush hour, like 8 to 9 a.m., 4 to 5 p.m. is pretty rough. So something for you to consider. We do help people buy and sell homes in Tampa as well. So if you want some advice on that, we'd be happy to guide you through that process. So there you have it, some things to consider, some of the negatives about maybe moving to St. Petersburg, Florida. What do you think? What questions do you have? What videos would be useful to you? We want to do our best to be of service to you thinking about moving to our wonderful city of St. Petersburg. If you need anything at all, please reach out. We're happy to help. And without further ado, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you at the next video.